Buhay Online, chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techie Mommy, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hello. Happy Monday, everyone. And I faced this Monday with no fervor, with no energy, with no hope, with no faith and love, of course, for everyone. Magandang umaga po. Medyo late naman akong pumasok kasi I was having a little bit of fixing some technical difficulty, dealing with some technical difficulties. But anyway, I hope everyone had a good weekend. Kung however way ninyo na-spend ang weekend nyo. I hope you guys had a good and restful weekend. Sa amin po, prayerful weekend too. It was we are still grieving yung ang aking lakap family here. And of course, also remembering my dad's birthday last June 24. Medyo emotional weekend for us. But at the same time, we're also thankful for so many things, especially our health, because itong past week po, I was actually very ill the week before that and trying to recover. I actually did the show last week towards the end of the week, when I was feeling a little bit under the weather pa. But thank you, Lord, I am fine. Okay, I feel good, and of course we face the world and with new hope. Okay. Anyway, maraming salamat sa mga nandito ngayon. Hindi ko pa rin nakikita yung pangalan. Ayun na naman, may delay na naman yung pag-akyat. But welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me today here at Buhay Online. Today, we're going to do the subject of online learning, okay, and distance learning. Kamustahin po natin ang ating pag-aaral online as far as the time is concerned. Half of the year na po tayo ng 2021 at kamustahin natin paano ngayon ang ating pag-aaral, how are the students coping, right? And of course, let's talk about also again distance learning and online learning, if there's a difference, right? Good morning, Jeannie Soldivela. Happy Monday to you. Nice to see you again. Thank you. Ayan, umakit na yung mga pangalan isa-isa. Very good. And so we're going to tackle, anahin na muna natin yung mga current kaalaman tungkol sa online learning natin that we've been doing for the past more than a year. Okay, so according to I'd like to read or talk or say the announcements, the official statements of the Department of Education regarding yung school opening. Now, of course, yung school openings, this is for online, okay? Last June 23-21, the Department of Education, or DepEd, announced that pending the approval of the new general school opening and school calendar, private schools and non-DepEd public schools may already start their classes for school year 2021-2022, provided that there are no face-to-face classes. Ayun na, please, klaro, wala pa ring face-to-face classes, and that the school will be strictly implementing only distance, okay, learning, okay? All right? So yun pa rin, distance learning pa rin. Ibig sabihin yun na nga, online pa rin ang pag-aaral, right? Okay. Private schools and non-DepEd public schools intending to start classes ahead of the general school opening shall submit the relevant documents to the regional director as required under DepEd Order number 13 S 2020 and DepEd Order number 17, S point 2020 on readiness assessment. Okay. Ayan, all right. So, yung DepEd announced that the pending approval of the new general school opening and school calendar, private schools and non-DepEd public schools may already start their classes for school year 2021-2022, provided there are no face-to-face classes. Okay? So, klaro natin yan. All right? Tapos, ano pang sinabi? Okay? Nung June 24, yung official statement na the entire department or the entire on the president's decision to postpone limited face-to-face classes in basic education, okay, last June 22, in light of the emergence of contagious variants of COVID-19 in the country, the DepEd will follow the decision of the president to postpone the implementation of limited face-to-face classes in low-risk areas. Therefore, hindi na-approve yung pagbubukas ng face-to-face classes dun sa mga areas na very low risk. Enhanced blending learning will continue to be implemented. Okay? Alright? So, yun yan, of course. So, wala pa rin face-to-face classes kahit na dun sa mga low-risk areas. Okay? Our utmost priority, sabi ng gobyerno, is the safety of our 27 million learners and more than 840,000 teachers. And we will defer to the professional assessment of the DepEd and the IATF and the wisdom of the President in measuring their protection. Okay? Nonetheless, we will continue to prepare and improve the delivery of quality education, no matter what the circumstances will be in the coming months. Okay? So, papagbuti pa rin ang ating online education, of course, which still has a little few quirks, pero mas systematic na ang mga modules, ang mga curriculum, ang mga school materials than before dahil may practice na tayo ng buong taon eh. So, medyo okay na. Alright? Ano pang announcement? Regarding end of the school year rights, okay? Committed to protect the health of learners, teachers, personnel, and parents, yun pa rin. The DepEd is not allowing any face-to-face graduation and moving up rights for school year 2020 to 21. Scheduled within the week of July, July. So, bawal pa rin ang face-to-face graduation. Kahit na medyo parang kung isipin mo, medyo mas pwede namang safe i-facilitate yun eh. Kasi pwede namang mag-social distancing, pwede namang mag-maskara kahit sa pagtanggap. Pero of course, to ensure the proper safety, sige na nga talaga, hindi pa rin ina-allow ang end of school year rights na face-to-face. Okay? Alright. Okay? So, those are the statements. So, anong papag-usapan natin ngayon? Alright? We're gonna talk about online learning and distance learning. Is there a difference ba? Meron bang difference ang online learning tsaka distance learning? Okay? Unang-una, okay, in today's digital era kasi, diba, online learning and distance learning have become very, very prevalent. With their meanings often interchanged kasi while both offer a great deal of flexibility to its learner, there are differences between the two. Okay? Meron naman difference talaga. Okay? Unahin natin ang distance learning. Okay? Oo, sa panahon nito, umiinit na naman bigla ang panahon. But you know, we've enjoyed a little bit of a cool weather nung nag-uulan last week, diba? So, nagta 28 degrees tayo, 27, which is really pleasant naman. Pero ngayon, ano na naman, kahapon 34, ngayon 32. Ang init sa labas. So, okay, let's go back first. So what is distance learning? Distance learning or distance education, okay, is a term used to refer to courses, okay, that are studied without the need of physically being present at the school, at the college or university, okay? Distance learning degrees are available at all academic levels, undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctorate, okay? Ang origin nito are college correspondence courses ng araw, whereby education materials were post-mailed to the students, okay? So, ini-email. Matagal na to, so hindi to online ha. Hindi necessarily online. Pino-post-mail ng slow post-mail ng araw to ang material. The majority, if not all of the courses, were learned through the postal correspondence between the student and the educational institution. Sa Amerika, matagal na tong uso. Kasi nga, doon yung mga correspondence courses na tinatawag na nag-graduate ka through mailing. Hindi ka pumapasok sa eskwela, pero nag-aaral ka. In some cases, it's like homeschooling. Pero ito kasi yung mga college courses. So you can be an accountant or a bookkeeper uh, through distance learning. Of course, hindi pwede yung mga nursing tsaka dentistry or mga doctor. No? Hindi pwede. Alright? Hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng degree na ganun through distance learning. But, okay. So, for history buffs, the first correspondence course was a shorthand system. See? Nung araw to. Taught over postcards. Imagine that. This initiative from the 1840s was the brainchild of Sir Isaac Pitman, the antecedent to online learning. The term distance learning is sometimes applied to all degrees not taught on campus. See? So ito yung non-conventional learning. All distance learning courses have an online study component with an access to online learning materials. The key difference is that they also often include face-to-face workshops, summer schools, or residentials as part of the degree program. As a result, a more suitable term to these types of courses is part-time, blended learning, or flexible learning degrees. For example, kunyari, no, sa Amerika, sa University of Northampton MBA program, they allow students to access the full online library of resources from the university. Pero, ini-incorporate nila optional weekend MBA workshops for those that prefer a personal interaction to their studies. So, meron silang option. Blended learning na yon tawag doon. So, ang distance learning is, you don't have to go to school, pero yung materials mo papadala sa'yo nung araw through postal, ngayon, through email na. And then you work on it at home, okay? Ano naman ang online learning? Of course, obviously so, involves the internet kasi online nga. Okay, online learning courses are 100% online, providing students an incredible level of flexibility. They can choose where they learn, when they learn, and even how they learn. Okay? Classes can have live online sessions but are never face-to-face. With online learning courses kasi, ang mga estudyante ay may access to a virtual learning environment or a VLE, such as sa Amerika, itong meron ditong platform, it's called Moodle or Collaborate or Blackboard, hosted with recorded lectures, student resources, and ebooks. Additionally, students have a university's considerable digital library at their disposal. Hindi ko pa natanong sa anak ko kung ang Ateneo merong digital library at their disposal. Pero yun, ang alam ko lang, siningil ako nun for 5,000 pesos for a library use. Okay? So maybe yun na yun, yung digital library. Okay? The VLE acts, or the virtual learning environment, acts as a communication medium and interactive learning tool. Discussion forums, group projects, quizzes keep students engaged and it encourages peer interaction. So kahit na hindi kayo face-to-face, ini-encourage pa rin ang group interaction. Given how much of today's working environment requires facilitation through online correspondence, this medium of study is an excellent way to learn essential communication skills by proxy. Okay? A common ano ba yan? Merong common na misconception tungkol sa online learning classes. Sabi nila ang mga students are not provided additional support or academic help to complete the degree. This is untrue, as reputable universities provide tutor support to students undertaking the program. I'd like to believe na yung Ateneo may ganyan because that's where my son goes to school and in the beginning, may kagaya ng kwento ko noon, my son really didn't like online schooling, because at the time, he felt that the materials, the school materials were not enough, or it was not sufficient. At the same time, uh, accessibility to the lessons were a little bit hard once internet connection was bad, right? Tsaka recorded yung mga lectures ng teacher na sometimes if the internet gets bad, namimiss ka sa kanyang lecture kasi nagbabog down, naglalag, or nagfreeze ang screen. So pero ngayon, I think it's gotten better already because he's not complaining much anymore. Okay? So, yun. So, hindi totoong uh, hindi walang tulong or support ang mga estudyante undertaking online lessons, okay? Kasi yung mga teacher naman are, they are open to communication with the student, okay? Regardless of study preference, one thing is true between distance learning and online learning. One must be self-disciplined and self-motivated, both very useful skills to cultivate in life. Yun na nga, yung kagaya ng sinabi ko na noon, actually, whether you're studying face-to-face or studying online, it's just a matter of motivation and the interest and willingness to study. I believe so because, of course, emotionally, psychologically, this has taken a toll sa mga ating mga mag-aaral. Especially yung mga university students na sanay pumunta sa campus at yung mag-interact. Kagaya nga nung reklamo na anak ko, Mommy, I did not dream of having a college education in my bedroom. Totoo naman kasi. Pero at saka maraming distractions sa pag-aaral sa bahay. Pero it boils down nga to the interest of the student and the diligence of the student. Hoping against hope na nga, kasi hindi mo naman pwedeng bantayan yung anak mo buong araw, na mamomotivate pa rin siya mag-aral kahit nasa bahay. Okay? Okay? Alright, so, meron tayong balita, no? Okay? This is a Manila Bulletin article published in May, okay, regarding the condition of our online learning. Okay, sabi nito, halfway into the school year under distance learning, issues on access, quality, and safety still persist. Okay, all right. Problems in access to distance learning modalities. Ayan, mga yan. Lacking education materials and poor state of school facilities unfit for the conducting face-to-face classes still persist after the first half of school year 2020-2021. Okay? Anong sad yan talaga because marami pa ring problema tayong kinakaharap, marami pa rin tayong kinakailangang ayusin. And it's very hard because we have to go through it already. Wala tayong choice. That's why I think we've been winging this well because compared nga to other countries, tayo, third world, kagaya na lang ng Japan, sila never silang nag-online education lang kahit nasa pandemya. kasi nga hindi nila afford because they don't have the facilities, they don't have the know-how to transfer, and to think Japan na yun, pero sila, ang kanilang mga elementary at high school students ay pumapasok sa actual school for the past year. Yung university students lang nila ang hindi pinapayagang pumasok sa eskwela. Pero nakakatawa because, di ba, tayo yung gobyerno nga natin protecting everyone because anybody can get the virus. Sa Japan, ano yung selective? Ang mga hindi lang pwede pumasok sa school, yung university students, yung malalaking tao na, yung matatandang tao. Diba? Hindi ko maintindihan masyado yun. Pero yun ang kanilang palakad. Kasi nga daw, sabi, again, it's about economy, right? Because they're saying na pag hindi pumasok yung mga bata or iniwanan sa kindergarten, paano magtatrabaho yung mga magulang daw, right? Kasi ngayon, a lot of dual income companies na ngayon medyo nauuso sa sa Japan. Anyway, I'm just gonna grab this picture, okay? Just to show you situations ng ating online learning. Right? Please bear with me. Wala. Hold on. Sorry. Pasensya na po. Sorry. Mamaya na lang. Anyway. So going back to what I was saying, right? Problems that are still ongoing, right? Because of this. Okay. Okay. Alam ko nang kunin. Sorry. Let me just do that again. Okay. Sandali lang po. I'm just gonna put up a graphic. How come I don't see it? Ayan. Online. Anyway, never mind. Okay, let's just do this another time. Okay. Anyway, ito yung mga eskwela. Okay. So as I was saying, dito sa balita na to, right? These were mga issues tungkol sa online distance learning. These issues were revealed by the Alliance of Concerned Teachers, or the ACT, on last May, okay? Based on the results of the survey conducted to assess the implementation of the DepEd's distance learning program. The group conducted a nationwide online survey among public school teachers from March 29 to April 11, okay, this year. The survey gathered responses from 6,731 public school teachers from kindergarten to senior high school levels, with 5,303 respondents coming from the NCR and 1,428 from all the other 16 regions. Anong mga issue to? Issues on access and quality remain persistent, okay? Citing the result of the online survey ang ACT, or Alliance of Concerned Teachers, okay? They said that 48% and 53% of the respondents respectively also indicated that at least 30% of their students have difficulty financing the demands of distance learning. Ayun nga ang pinaka-main bottom line doon. Yung pag-put up mo ng facilities, yung pag-aano mo ng study area, or yun na lang gadget to be able to learn. or to do this distance learning. It is a concern, financing. ACT Secretary Raymond Basilio said that majority of students, particularly do sa mga public school, kasi they come from mga low-income households, and those are mostly hit by this economic recession, diba? Brought about itong pandemya. Kasi naman, yung mga iba naman belong to homes that house 2 or 3 families with only 1 or 2 gadgets shared by multiple learners. Kasi nga, a lot of those people lost their incomes, lost their sources of income. So nawalan din ng trabaho mga magulang nito, mga nag-aaral na ito. So, and if more than one family nga kayo, nag-share lang sila ng gadget. Tsaka of course, yung schedule ng pag-aaral, iba-iba, sometimes sabay. So doon nahihirapan ngayon kung paano mag-provide ng gadgets na yun para makapag-aral efficiently ang lahat. The government is essentially forcing these families to choose between putting food on the table and ensuring their children's education. Yun na nga. Yung bis pambili mo ng ulam, bibili ka mo ng tablet, right? Saka yun na nga, kahit bumili ka ng gadgets and tablets or anything, may mura nga sa 168, mga 2,000 lang or so. Pero yun na nga, yung mga fake na gadgets na yun, hindi mo masyado magamit sa internet ng mahusay eh. Mahina ang signal, okay? Tapos malabo ang pictures, mabagal. So, kaya kailangan mag-invest nga sa mas mahal. Pero ano nga gagawin mo kung magugutom pamilya mo or bibili ka ng gadget? Ang mga ibang tao naman kasi, right? Ang ACT also said that teacher respondents also reported na ang kanilang mga estudyante are lagging behind in lessons, okay? Based on the survey, 95% of those from NCR and 86% from the other 16 regions admitted that portions of their classes lag behind, while 24% and 29% respectively said that 30% or more have difficulties keeping up. Actually, there's truth to this because my own son was complaining to me saying it's very hard, this online education. And I said, what is hard, anak, di ba? You're very smart, di ba? What are you afraid to fail? And he said, yes. Although, and I asked him, why? Bakit anak, anong nahihirapan ka saan? Sabi niya, basta, it's the learning online itself. And perhaps also the materials. So, naawa naman ako talaga kasi hirap na hirap siya. Nung nag-finals na ng exam, sabi ko, babagsak ka ba anak? Sabi niya, hindi naman, mommy. It's just that he feels he didn't do well enough, okay? Because he said that there was difficulty learning certain things at hindi lang daw siya, pati mga classmates niya. And so I had to ask him, why don't you talk to your counselor and tell them na, there's an impediment sa pag-aaral mo, hindi ka maka-aral ng mabuti. Kasi ano ba naman yun, right? Ikaw na lang nga sa kwarto, ikaw na lang nga dyan, tsaka yung teacher, of course, sometimes your group. Why can't you study well? Kaya. So he couldn't understand it himself, but I think it's because there's a lot of distractions too. Cannot focus too much. All right? Based on a survey, 95% of those from NCR nga and 86% from other regions admitted that portions of their classes are lagging behind. ACT noted that teachers are also behind their lesson schedules. Yun na nga eh. Pati yung mga school materials, nadidelay yung paggawa ng lesson plan, so to speak. So anong problema, right? Nahihirapan talaga kasi pag-transition. Nagkaroon na nga ng mga training yung mga ibang teacher na hindi tech savvy. Nagkaroon na nga ng mga teacher ng training pati sa paggagamit ng platform na pagtuturuan, right? So there was a lot of that went on this past year already. Pero why are still we experiencing these problems? Okay. So, like I said, also the teachers are behind their lesson schedules, as reported by 27% of respondents from NCR and 43 from other regions, with percent and 34% respectively delayed as much as 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, so 43% from other regions and 34% respectively delayed by as much as 1 to 2 weeks. Oh, let's go back naman to modules, okay? Lack of printed modules, okay? Itong sad dyan. Nahirap din yung mga nagmo-module, okay? The survey showed that the most employed learning modality remains to be the printed modular learning, as indicated by 50% of the teacher respondents from NCR and 87% from other regions, okay? Kawawa talaga. However, sabi ng ACT or Association of Concerned Teachers, they found out that the available modules for the first and second grading were incomplete, as pointed out by 32% of NCR teachers and 23% of teachers from other regions. Okay, Basilio said that halfway into the school year, we're still significantly short of the most basic requisite of distance learning. Printed modules. Ano ba yan? So kukulang pa. He alleged that major factors to this are the delayed production of learning materials from DepEd Central Office and the insufficient funding for module learning or for module printing. Yan ang sad talaga dyan eh. Bottom line palagi, of course, pera, right? Funding, okay? Sabi na ni Basilio, this is a great disservice to millions of learners who are shortchanged in education. Totoo naman. And para sa mga guro as well, who have been exhausting their means to fill in these shortages, right? Tumutulong na nga yung ating mga guro para ma-bridge yung gap nitong face-to-face tsaka online learning. Ano pa? Unfit for in-classroom learning? Bakit kaya? While there is a growing clamor for the resumption of face-to-face classes, ACT said that schools remain unsafe due to perennially unaddressed shortages in infrastructure. In its survey, ACT said that 83% of NCR respondents and 72% from other regions answered that they have insufficient to no school nurse at all. Oh my gosh, so wala namang talaga mga in-house nurse na. Di ba, nung nag-aaral ako, may clinic, laging may nurse, right? Meanwhile, the group now added that 50% of the respondents nationwide indicated that their classrooms have poor ventilation, while 43% from NCR and 52% from other regions has also noted, okay, na yung mga eskwela nila do not have enough comfort rooms. Oh my God, that's so gross. ACT added that 31% and 41% respectively said they have insufficient or lacking water supply in their schools. Oh my goodness. These perennial shortages in education pose bigger problems now than before the pandemic, sabi ni Basilio. So, it's really, really scary. Because it's not a joke na nagkakaroon pa rin ng problema yung nag-aaral. Alright? Okay. So, alright. So we go back. So tapos, of course, the graduations happened last year virtually for most of the students, and it's still happening now. Kasi nga hindi na pinayagan, okay, na mag face-to-face graduation kahit na sa mga low-risk area. Okay? So tanong ko lang, why do you think distance learning is important? Okay? Okay. While skilled educators will continue to be an integral part of every student's life, whether they're teaching face-to-face or online, okay, Technology will bridge the physical spaces between teachers and learners. Yun na nga. Distance learning is already part of many institution programs and is set to become an even larger part of the educational sector. It's already happening now, okay? So again, along distance learning, it describes any learning that happens without the students being physically present, okay? Yun, simply lang. Historically, this described correspondence courses kasi which communicate with their schools or teachers by mail. More recently, distance education has moved to online. Diba? Yun na nga, which is what's happening now. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the different types of. Okay. So we are going to talk about the difference between online learning and distance learning. Okay. There are different types of distance learning. Okay. Pwede ko bang sabihin sa inyo? Okay. Hold on. May mga common types ng distance learning. Unang-una dyan is video conferencing. Okay? Ginagawa na natin to. Medyo matagal-tagal na. Right? Ang video conferencing is a common way para ang mga teacher ay mag-interact directly with the students in live lessons. Okay? This could be a one-on-one session or a class-like scenario in which multiple students connect to the teacher live. So, that is called video conferencing. Okay? Ang sunod naman ay synchronous learning. Synchronous learning, teka nga, let me get my, to show you naman what I'm talking about. Alright, the first one, was video conferencing. Okay? Tapos, yung sunod ay, teka, sulat ko lang. Okay? Ang sunod ay synchronous learning. Napakapangit talaga na sulat ko. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sandali lang ha. So sorry. Okay. So yan. Alright. Okay, nakikita niyo ba? Pangit talaga na sulat ko. Can you see this? Alright, so teka, hindi ko nakikita niya ba? Ayan, okay. Gitna mo siya. Alright, so video and asynchronous learning. Okay, so ang synchronous learning is when all the students are learning together at the same time, okay? And often even place. But the instructor is at another location, okay? It often features video or teleconferencing that connects teachers to students digitally, okay? Yun na lang kaya sa baba. Diba? Ang sunod naman dyan ay asynchronous. Asynchronous learning is less connected but also less constrained format. Instead of live online lessons, students are given learning tasks with deadlines, all right? Okay? Okay, anyway, ang pangit na sulat ko. All right? Pagkatapos ng asynchronous is open schedule. Okay? Ano ang open schedule? Obviously, open online schedule, online courses add yet another layer of flexibility. It is a type of asynchronous course setup, except na there aren't any deadlines. Okay? This is ideal for learners with other demands on their time kasi ito, flexible ang oras. Okay, such as professionals or stay-at-home parents. Ito ang pwede nilang gamitin, open schedule. Ang sunod naman ay fixed time, alright? Fixed time meaning online courses are a type of uh, synchronized course that requires online users to all visit a specific virtual location. Papapuntahin sa isang channel at a set time and place, okay? For example, like a webinar. Unlike more rigid synchronous lessons, itong fixed time thus allows students from anywhere in the world to connect and interact online. Okay, another way of distance learning is computer based. Distance education is a fixed time synchronous lesson on computers, usually a computer lab. This is most common in existing institutions that already have access to the necessary devices. Okay? So, ano pang klaseng learning? Hybrid learning, all right? Ano ang hybrid learning? It is a specific type of blended learning wherein ang mga estudyante are learning the same lesson in real time. Synchronous distance learning, but some of the students are physically present while others are learning remotely. So, pwede pa rin mag-synergize ng efforts, okay? Just through all this bells and whistles na inventong gawin, okay? So how is distance learning different from regular learning? Okay, of course, distance education is clearly different from regular education in terms of a student's and teacher's physical presence, diba? But what does it mean exactly? For most part, okay, for the most part, it translates into increased freedom for both learners and educators. Bakit? But it also requires higher degrees of discipline and planning successfully, of course, for you to complete the course of study. The enhanced freedom of remote learning is most clearly seen in the fact that students can choose courses that fit their schedules and resources. The teachers then can do the same. And in the case of digital learning, ang mga estudyante can also choose the location and teaching styles that best suits their needs. So pwede silang mamili niyan, right? Based on their own requests. The flip side of freedom, however, is the discipline. Mhm. It's the discipline required to make the most out of the lessons. Talaga, kasi nga, like I said, parang honor system lang yan. Hindi ka naman pwedeng tutukan ng nanay mo all day long to say, oy, nag-aaral ka pa dyan o nag-Netflix ka ba? Right? So, yun pa rin. At the end of the day, it's the interest of the child to show the interest, okay? And motivate himself. Okay? So, because nga she cannot do if you cannot do this without more discipline, okay? To make the most out of the lessons. Students need to self-motivate in order to actually get the work done. And of course, yun na nga, when you're working from the house, that's not easy to do. There's a tendency to be lazy, okay? Or the tendency to not pay attention too much to detail. Some students kasi need to self-motivate in order to actually get the work done, especially in systems that don't require them to be present in some specific time or place. Okay? So ang mga teacher, they also need to be better organized with contingencies should their students need additional explanation. Yun ang sinasabi ko, okay? Yung mga iba, pag hindi nila maintindihan yung tanong ng estudyante, mag-iimbento, naku, wag na wag gawin yan kasi it will just get worse. I suggest that you tell the student to look it up or to take it easy and wait for himself to get better, right? Teachers also need to be better organized kasi, okay? Because if they're not they are not teaching live, and if they're not able to read the room, okay, the teacher should have a backup plan should their students need additional explanation, all right? Wag mong sasabihin na hindi mo alam yung sagot or no, you just can tell your students I'll just look this up, okay? I will look this up for now and give you an answer tomorrow, okay? But just don't invent answers, okay? In certain cases, however, distance learning is not just required but the best possible option. Really? Wow. There are times when the advantages of remote education really has a chance to shine. Okay? O anong naman ang advantages ng distance learning? Hold on, can I just get a sip? Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Certainly, of course, live instruction is great. Ang face-to-face contact uh, lets teachers and students connect in a very authentic way. With which way, okay, we often na itong mas distance learning can actually foster a strong rapport and relationship with the teacher and student, between the student and the teacher. Ah, kasi pagka nag-distance learning ka, online learning ka, at nakakausap mo din naman ng halos araw-araw yung teacher mo, okay, this often results in strong rapport and understanding. While not possible, this kind of connection still seems easier in person. Okay, so why is distance learning even a thing, right? As it turned out, there are a number of advantages when learning remotely. Okay, let's check it out. Ano ang mga advantages ng pag-aaral online or pag-aaral distance learning, like modules, okay? The top benefit of distance education is flexibility. I believe so, yeah. Students can choose when, where, and how they learn by selecting the time. Okay. Uh, they choose the time, place, and medium for their education. For those who want direct, live access to teachers, there are video conferencing options. But for students who may not be doing their training around the job or other responsibilities, a more relative schedule may work together. There are options to match virtually anyone's needs, okay? So be flexible. Easy access, whether due to remote location or being differently able, okay? Some students lack basic access to educational facilities, all right? Walang mga ramp for the PWD. Sa Amerika, hindi pwede yun. Yung mga nag-check mga negosyo. Okay? Remote learning programs offer every student the opportunity to learn and improve themselves in the environment they find the most attractive. Okay? All right. So if you have any questions, please feel free to field your questions through my messenger or through this broad streamcast communicators Facebook page as well. Of course, you have to like this sticker of ours, and at the same time, okay, uh, you have to see distance learning as something that, especially now, is bridging the gap nga between online face-to-face education. Uh, Kaya lang mas may effort talaga rin ang distance learning sa teacher, on the part of the teacher and the student, okay? Pero easy access, okay? Whether ang location mo uh, or differently able, some students kasi lack basic access to the educational facilities. Yun ang problema. Remote learning offers every student the opportunity to learn and improve himself in the environment they find most effective. Okay? So remote learning kasi also opens up new horizons of education in terms of international institutions. Major universities and trade schools all over the world now offer recognized degrees, certificates, and professional qualifications. Online learners of all ages, okay, are motivated people can get more basic certificates of completion everywhere from Udemy to Google Skillshop. Ano pang isang sasabihin ko? Less cost or cost effective. Ang alin? Thanks to the scalable nature of digital learning, especially, distance learning is driving down the cost of education. Online degrees are becoming almost commonplace, and there are even accredited online only universities that can eliminate expensive infrastructure overhead and get straight to the teaching. Okay, so I know, and those schools that offer both can offer the same program for drastically different prices. For example, okay, isang undergrad from Purdue University, ranked 57 in the United States, estimates in-person tuition and living expenses at $22,000, 782 a year, usually requiring 4 years of study. So yun na nga, pwede kang maging nurse online. All right. What do you look for? What to look for in distance learning? Anong kailangan nyo hanapin sa distance learning? Regardless of whether you are an educator or a student, there are certain features that you should look for in a distance learning system to get the most out of it. Anong kailangan nyo hanapin sa sistema na to? Number one, ease of use. Okay? Simplicity is the key. Any system you adopt to either teach or learn should be over-friendly for everyone involved. This means a clear interface and a set of certain essential features that include, okay, digital whiteboarding and annotation, medical creation, no medical, media creation and sharing, screen audio, screen recording and audio, direct student to student communication, and multi-device capability. Okay, so that's long distance learning for you. Accreditation daw. The credibility of a remote learning platform is really a combination of the instructor and platform itself. For every learner, it's important to note how well recognized that platform's credentials are. Does it provide a recognized degree, a professional certificate, a certificate of completion? These are all things to keep in mind when you're enrolling, okay? And educators looking to adopt a remote learning system, it's important to know what kind of accreditation that system should get, right? For academic degrees or professional qualifications, recognition by outside regulatory boards will likely be necessary. So ano pa? Ang schedule. Okay? As most distance learning systems are made to be fairly flexible in the regard, the course schedule has a lot to do more with its content and not the system. Still, it's an important factor to consider when choosing a course. If asynchronous or asynchronous course is asynchronous, uh, is it a synchronous or asynchronous course? Are there deadlines or not? How long do you have to complete the entire course? And does the course's schedule match yours? Okay. So what is an example of an online tool that checks all the distance learning boxes? Sinabi ko na kanina yon. Check out my view board. All right. Okay. So to wrap it up, no, our segment today on distance learning muna and online learning, but specifically discussing distance learning. Remote education is certainly not a magic bullet. There will always be a place for in-class learning. At the same time, distance learning still has a lot of untapped potential. I believe talaga naman. Marami pang pinag-aaralan tungkol dito sa distance learning at online learning na to. So please keep the faith, okay? Distance learning still has a lot of untapped potential kasi to reach students where they are and where they can connect to the educators and learners in new ways. From increased flexibility to new teaching and learning style, it seems that the future of learning will be as diverse in time and as place as it will be in thought. Okay? All right. So, given all that, yan, pinigrave pa rin natin yung time na isipin na hindi pa tayo makakauwi sa ating mga bahay, nang ganun na lang. I mean, hindi na makapag-aral pala sa bahay. Ang ganun na lang, maraming effort na kailangan gawin based on the student's part at saka yung magulang. They have to be working hand in hand. And if the mom is also a working mom, she will make time to monitor her children from time to time. Pero yun na nga, hindi a lot of times kasi maraming diskaril na trabaho dahil dyan na kailangan tutukan yung anak. What if the mommy has to work too, right? Okay? So, in understanding English distance learning, okay, we were trying to say kung paano magko-cope up itong distance learning na to yung mga teacher, okay? So, that has been our story today or our news, okay? Binigay natin yung mga statement na binigay ng gobyerno tungkol sa hindi pagbubukas ng, okay lang na pagbubukas ng klase for 2021-2022, pero still, no online classes pa rin. We're still, anong no online? Wala pa rin face-to-face classes allowed. Wala pa rin face-to-face ceremonies allowed either. So, everything is still as is, okay, was is studying online. But thank you so much for joining me today, okay, in this hot day. But ako'y naka-aircon dahil matiis yung init. But please feel free to fill in your questions po regarding distance learning and online education. We'll talk about it more tomorrow, especially the difference between online education and distance learning. Maraming salamat po sa sumama sa akin today dito sa Buhay Online. And of course, if you want to watch past episodes, please go to our YouTube channel, Broad Streamcast Communicators YouTube channel. Pwede niyong balikan ang aming mga programa or episodes na miss niyo po. So, maraming salamat for your support. Thank you so much for your interest. And I hope I was able to talk to you about something that is important, especially our education and distance learning per se. Thank you so much and hope to see you again tomorrow. Same time po, 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. At sa mga gutom na, okay, pwede na tayong mag-lunch, alright? I'd like to thank Susan Ocampo for the yummy pancit palabok that she said. Nag-segue kasi lunch na alala ko yan. Salamat. So, please keep the faith, hope, and love going. Go lang tayo ng go po kasi lagi tayo may pag-asa habang tayo ay nabubuhay. Thank you very much and see you again tomorrow.
Inyong natunghayan at napakinggan ang mga makabagong pamamaraan sa mundo ng online sa pamamagitan pa rin ng Broad Streamcast Communicators. Hanggang sa muli, maraming salamat po.